And he took me out to dinner, and I was sort of despondent over the fact that I wasn't getting, and I should have realized at the time that people couldn't see from Star Wars. But I thought I would at least get a chance to go into an office and sit and talk like I am with you to show people that I did have more to offer. The film I had to turn down, unfortunately, was one that Sam Fuller had been wanting to do ever since I did Big Red 1. It's been a dream of mine to be an actor who is able to work with a director more than once.
Speaking of doing things in different projects, when you were in high school, because Dad was military, you happened to be in Japan, you actually went up for a Japanese science fiction film, one of those Godzilla-like things called Astro Boy.
Well, it was a voice-over for, it was an animated cartoon. Well, you really do your homework, Bill.
We try.
I did. My drama teacher used to do American dub. He would dub Japanese movies into English. Here he comes now. Oh my gosh, here he comes. You know how right, you know how they talk. It's just the style. It's very strange. The long and the short of it was I didn't get the part.
That's okay.
What happened was I did very well the first time, and I came back a week later and I had a week to think about it, and I got so excited I couldn't really remember what voice I had done.
Astro Boy 1 and 2.
Right, and 3 and 4, because I saw a lot of different people, but wonder who did get that part.
Multi-millions of people know you as Luke Skywalker. There is satisfaction in that, even though it sometimes stymies you from other
sure.
pursuits.
I don't want ever to come off as if I'm bitter, you know. That experience was wonderful. All the actors, going to Africa and Norway and working with Lucas and meeting so many talented people. And plus, it's one of those things that probably has created for a generation of very young people, you know, the same inspiration we had from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad or Jason and the Argonauts or King Kong. So I know I feel very lucky, and I think that I never really felt like I was playing the same character over again, because he grew from the first to the second, and the third one should be the payoff.
Speaking of the third one being the payoff, you had a contract for 3 films. Does Revenge of the Jedi mean that this does it for you?
That's all, folks.
That's all.
Well, see, you're one of the few people in the media that has ever really known that. They always assume that Empire was an afterthought, like Star Wars 2 or something. And even though it was at the producer's discretion not to make the 2 sequels, it said from the beginning that if the first one were popular, they'd make the whole trilogy. But it was meant to have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Speaking of the end, then, in Jedi, I hear, and I don't know even what it is, there's a creature that's even more lovable than Yoda that might compare to E.T., who took everyone's heart. Is that part true? Do you have a new friend in this film that we'll be seeing?
I have a lot of new friends in this film.
Have you been told not to talk about certain subjects?
Well, it's funny. Sometimes they come in and they'll have 2 pages of dialogue, and they give it to you very sort of furtively, and you read it and they shred it, you know.
Okay.
I remember when we were filming the scene where Vader says, "I am your father," everyone on the set had the twist they thought was, "You don't know the truth, Obi-Wan killed your father." And only I knew it, the director knew it, there were like 5 people. And even at that, they leaked to the press. Somebody in the hundreds of people that work on a film set leaked that the twist ending is that Alec Guinness turns out to be the bad guy in part 2. So it's mostly like trying to preserve what you're getting for Christmas, not to spoil it for you.
Okay. You once said that Star Wars picked up a nice Malibu beach house for you, that Empire Strikes Back took care of the New York apartment, and now what do you hope to have happen out of Revenge? That Connecticut farm I read about? Or?
Well, again, it's kind of hard. People sort of, I don't want to come off as, I never got into this business for the money.
Then we'll kill the question.
Well, no, I mean, I'll talk about this. You know, I think I'd love to have a farm, mostly so that I can enjoy my family. I hope I never get so obsessed with my career that I turn around and Nathan's joining the Army or something.
And Nathan's new young brother or sister 1 month away.
Right.
Boy.
I mean, I hope I don't ever become too... I really admire that about George Lucas, is that with the, you know, phenomenal amounts of work he has, he sees his daughter every single day.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
What does Nathan think when he watches Luke? Does he just say Daddy, or does he
Well,
get into
it's interchangeable. Sometimes he's got all those little toys, so he says, here's Daddy with the white costume, and here's... But sometimes he'll say, here's Luke with the white costume, and here's... I really think he understands the fact that we're all pretending. He's seen Darth Vader with his mask off, and actually he knows, if you say, who's Chewbacca, he knows it's Peter Mayhew. He's a sharp kid.
Gee.
But it does wonders for, like, Tony Daniels and all these people who have made these characters so famous, whose faces you wouldn't recognize.
Yes.
It really pumps their egos.
I like it a lot. On National Public Radio, you starred in Star Wars. What's it like to act on the radio, without costume, without makeup? Is it fun?
I loved it.
Is it?
It's fantastic. I mean, a scene that will take you 6 days in blue screen and hundreds of extras can be done in 3 hours in the radio studio. And also, it seemed to me a lost sort of art form in America. In England, radio drama is still very, very popular. So it was our version of a free concert.
Radio brought it right to them for free. Thank you very much, Mark Hamill. I enjoyed this. A special treat for those of you who live in San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, or Baltimore. Coming to your town, Amadeus. 5 Tony Awards to its credit. John Wood and Mark Hamill also to its credit. Do not miss it. And of course, all this month here on Showtime, Star Wars, the film none of us will forget. We wanted to give you a closer look at one of the men behind it. Hope you enjoy. Bill Harris from the Shubert Theater in Los Angeles. We'll talk again.